Hi, I'm Greg Teal. I'm a fellow at ARPAE, and I'd like to spend the next few minutes talking with you about how ARPAE engages with startups and small businesses. So, in case you haven't heard of us before, ARPAE is the Advanced Research Projects Agency Energy. And what we do is we fund great teams to tackle really big R&D challenges in energy and emissions. And we've funded teams all across the energy and emissions landscape, including the ones you see on this slide here. Our specific mission is defined by statute. And what that tasks us with is funding research and development projects that overcome long term, high risk technological barriers in the development of energy technologies that fall into three mission buckets. The first one is reducing energy imports. The second one is improving energy efficiency. And the third bucket is reducing energy related emissions. So everything that we fund has to fall into those buckets. We're also tasked with ensuring that the projects we fund help the United States maintain a technological lead in developing and deploying advanced energy technologies. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to use terms like teams and programs and projects. And so before we go any further, I just wanted to explain what we mean by that. So from ARPA-E's perspective, ARPA-E funds teams under the umbrella of programs to execute R&D projects. So a team would be an organization or collection of organizations working on an R&D project together and receiving funding from ARPA-E. A program is a set of projects that are sort of all working together to answer a question that ARPAE has raised under a funding opportunity. So they're a collection of projects that are using different sort of aims to answer a single R&D question. And project would be the actual R&D work that teams are doing. So inside those three mission areas that I mentioned, reducing imports, increasing efficiency, and reducing, energy-related emissions. We have funded projects across a variety of sectors, including projects in transportation fuels, advanced batteries, power conversion and smart grid, power generation, projects in building efficiency, agricultural technologies, materials and manufacturing, and transportation technologies. ARPA-E itself has been around for a little over 10 years right now. Um, and it was authorized first in 2007 and then first funded in 2009. And since 2009, ARPA-E has awarded over $2 billion in research funding to 950 projects. And 166 of those projects have themselves gone on to attract over $3 billion in private sector follow-on funding. ARPA-E teams have founded companies, they have published great academic papers, and they've created a lot of intellectual property as well. So ARPA-E has supported the issuance of over 600 patents. And in 2020, ARPA-E's budget is just over $400 million. So this funding historically has been distributed through two types of research programs. The first type is an open program. The open programs have funded new technology developments across basically all of those mission areas that I mentioned initially, reducing imports, increasing efficiency, and reducing energy-related emissions. Um, Historically, these open solicitations have been run once every 3 years. They were run in 2009, in 2012, in 2015, and in 2018. In addition to the open programs, ARPA-E has also issued a number of funding opportunities under the umbrella of a focused program. And so focused programs, unlike open programs, define a specific technology, a set of R&D questions or a central R&D question that scopes the types of technologies that might be considered eligible. Those opportunity spaces are identified by ARPA-E, and the idea is to fund a portfolio of projects with different approaches, different answers, or different ways of answering a single R&D question or set of R&D questions. And historically, several of these programs have been released every year with acronyms like those you see at left: Breakers, DAYS, Roots, Sensor, Mariner, XCAR, and many others. So in contrast to focused programs and open programs, last year ARPA-E ran a program called SEED, which stands for Supporting Entrepreneurial Energy Discoveries. And that program is designed for startups and small businesses. So in contrast to open and focused programs, SEED, only small businesses are eligible to apply for seed funding. This is different from open or focused programs, for which universities, national labs, large, medium, and small businesses can all apply. The typical period of performance for an open or focused program is around 2 to 3 years. In seed, it was only up to 2 years. The award amounts are different too. So historically, the average award of an open or focused program was $2.5 million. Seed grants were less than 500,000. Cost share is typically required for awardees from open or focused program solicitations, not required for seed. And finally, the award structure is different between these two. So in an open or focused program, typically the awards are milestone-based cooperative agreements with active involvement from ARPA-E. Seed, on the other hand, issued SBIR and STTR grants. So from ARPA-E's perspective, there's a pretty big life cycle to an R&D project. ARPA-E starts by thinking about what sorts of technical R&D questions should be answered. And so that's the definition of a program. And that's really the best time for innovators to engage with ARPA-E, as ARPA-E seeks to understand the state of the art and what technical goals should be included in the next program. Ultimately, when a program is developed, the funding solicitation is released, and there's a period of open competition during which ARPA-E is not able to discuss technologies related to the funding opportunity with innovators. Finally, awards are selected, awards are made, awardees are selected, and the teams begin to execute the proposed R&D work. And during that time, and as the project proceeds to completion, that's the best time for investors and other potential commercial partners interested in the technology to engage with the teams. So beyond receiving R&D funding, there are a number of other benefits of working with ARPA-E. ARPA-E has a great staff of technology and technology to market experts. And that staff is available to teams to support and help in any way that they can. ARPA-E funding is non-dilutive. ARPA-E doesn't take equity positions in companies or teams. There's also the opportunity for additional funding to further develop ideas when things are going really well. We also know that R&D is a dynamic process, and if teams need to pivot, there can be an opportunity to pivot. And finally, ARPA-E has a great network with industry and with investors, and ARPA-E likes to make that network available to its teams to help develop the technology in the best ways possible. So I hope that's given you a little bit of information on how small businesses and startups can engage with ARPA-E throughout the project and program life cycles. And we hope that you'll stay connected with the agency as well. You can always visit our website at arpa-e.energy.gov for all the information on projects and programs that ARPAE has funded. We encourage you to subscribe to our newsletter for all new announcements coming down the pipeline. We have a page that will tell you all about our workshops and events that we run, and we hope you'll attend. And we have frequently asked questions about the agency and the funding opportunities. And finally, all of the funding opportunities, including targeted topics under the funding opportunity numbers you see here, all funding opportunities are posted at arpa-e-foa.energy.gov. And please follow us on social media for updates and opportunity announcements and much, much more. We have YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter presences. And finally, if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach us at the email addresses here.